What's up, guys? How is everyone going on? What's up? What's up? What's up? Absolute corker of a move from that GU area. Crazy move. How's everyone doing? Everyone is good. What's everyone looking at today? Going on, Martin? Happening, brother? Hope you're good. So we gave this setup out yesterday to the VIPs. We gave this out. I did give a warning this morning saying, caution if you have this open, I'm waiting for another entry to be given. So for this move itself, I was actually waiting for a space to open, price action to just tap in and then drop down. Some really clean price action. Also some really clean bullish price action from UChef. We were in this yesterday. We got literally swiped out. Now price is running. Now we did take out this low and an entry was actually given here. But unfortunately that was like midnight for us. And you see we didn't get back into the market until like 7, 8 o'clock, which were around here. So the entry would have been here. We just stopped below that low. So that entry, that one's beautiful. Works beautifully. That one unfortunately didn't work out for us, but the bias was correct and the area we were looking to go long was correct. And we were also looking to sell from here. Didn't quite get there. Really annoying. Gonna see if there's a gap left open here with GU. Amazing call on you, Chef. You're a rock star. What can I say? I love a guitar. I'm joking. Good work, Martin. Good job. Good stuff, man. Love to hear it. Yeah, I mean, we're building the bot at the moment, and we're actually incorporating a no stop loss system into it. So it doesn't mean that it will just run, it doesn't mean that it will just run no stop loss and entail crazy amounts of risk. It just means ultimately that it will give the flexibility of people that are willing to put a lower amount of risk on a move, the ability to do it without being taken out. at a certain point. So for example, like Martin took the long, didn't use a stop on it, and then prices continue running. Stop loss is challenging. Yeah, of course. So this is something that is really important to remember, because when it comes to excuse me, when it comes to a lot of the larger institutes, they don't use stop losses in the way that we do. They use risk exposure. So there's a certain level of exposure that they will allow X amount of drawdown, and averaging in terms of the dollars. It's just a completely different way of doing it. But if no stop loss, how is the bot going to define the point of invalidation? Well, this is exactly where the kind of, how would I say? Well, it's kind of like it would have a mitigation of risk, and it would also use very small amounts. So you'd have to go into crazy, crazy deep drawdown for it to even start to mitigate, the risk. It's also one of the parts that I wouldn't technically be able to tell you about right now. But it is going to be a feature and a function, and we will be looking to do it. It's not going to be our first stop. It's going to be after after the stop loss version comes out, standard trading version. Then once we have that in place, we'll start putting in the institutional side of things and allowing price to run a bit more freely. So as it stands, we are looking pretty good for this. Still want to see this candle close lower, and then we're going to look for price action to tap into here. That's where we're expected to go down from. If it delivers to that point. So I'm working from home again today. It is my mother's birthday, so I'll be on for probably an hour or so, but I'll be coming off after. She's coming round to ours for lunch, and yeah, family first is what I always say. What's going on, Zephyr? I'm doing good, thanks, buddy. Do you consider gold dropping? Well, I'll walk you through the principle I have here of gold currently. I was actually tracking it as well on the lower time frame here. You see here how we're bearish from this space. 5 minute, this is a liquid point, this is a liquid point. From here, I mean, I don't know if it's actually tapped in, but we'll see. You know what, I can't see this, you can't see this. Let's just rewind it. Let's just rewind and we'll look together. The reason I don't know is because I've been doing everyday things. My son's also got one of his friends round, and little Hudson decided to completely empty his guts earlier, so we had to change him and bath him. He's at that age where he's starting to eat solid foods. So, right, so we're looking for price to tap into here. Remember, I showed you guys 1551 as one of the not variables, as 3 of the states you can use this system within. So that's your 5 minute high that's taken out. Okay, so an entry could have occurred here. Push straight through, and then we get that high taken out. Again, an entry could have occurred here if you stop above the high. That also gets taken out, and then you have that gap move. So again, not really the ideal scenario for that one, but it's going to work across time frames rather than just being one time frame to focus on. Let's go back to where it is now. So you do actually get triggered into that entry if your stop's tight enough. Sorry, not if your spread's tight enough to that high, and you would have been able to sell down, but very minor move, nothing too crazy. Ultimately, 2 points of losing price action there. But again, this is something to remember. Does this align with our higher time frame bias? No. So we're looking at the wrong side of the market. Ultimately, that's going to give a lot more definition to what you're looking at. The 15-minute, yes, it's showing a bearish gap, but we know the higher time frame is bullish, right? So going back to the principle that we were looking at, daily time frame bullish, 4-hour bullish. I believe new all-time highs. Again, it's probably going to be the movement we're expecting to see here. Now, we were trading it yesterday in here as well, actually. I'll show you that. This was what we were doing in the VIP session yesterday. We've done this live as well. We didn't back test it. We didn't get in on that there. We got in on it. Well, we didn't get in on it, but we were looking for it to trade from here. Didn't trigger us in. That was a 1-minute example, so that actually can be deleted. And then here you'll see we swept this high on the 5, and price action gave a really nice tap into that to run down to the low. Because the 15-minute, again, the same principle, was holding a bearish FVG, so we look for it to sell to that low. Now, again, that was just a live representation of it. It doesn't mean that you're going to be able to apply that every single time. And like you see, price action is clearly bullish. Now, for the higher time frame points that we were looking at, we still have a lower target point here. And we now have a mid target placed from that price action that we spoke about. So there is potential within this whole area here, if price decides to drop down, to go long out there. I believe it could drop, but I'm not believing it's going to go long-term bearish. I think this is the point everyone should be looking at. Is the liquid sitting above this high? Now, keeping that in mind, a lot of people going short from up here right now. A lot of people. That is a highly dense area of liquidity. I target 2715. Yep. Yeah, that's completely valid. I think that's easy to come down into those areas. You can see our targets are in these points. Our targets are anything below 740. So you could see price sell off down to those. You've got 1.5, so 1.5 is pretty much that lowest entry point for us. I think we'll be lucky to see that today, to be honest. I wouldn't, and again, this is just my personal view, I wouldn't ever target lows. I would always target highs if we're in an uptrend direction. I would never try and sell to a low. I'd try and buy from the low, because otherwise you're countering the move. I know, of course, you use a slightly different system, so that's going to be different for you. For me, I'm only going to look to buy from lows and ultimately wait for that price action to deliver where we want it to go. This is such a shame that it didn't give us the move. I know here there's a 4-hour high, but I don't believe it gave an entry. The entry would have been there. Scorcher. But it didn't give anything, so that's fine. We go back to the 4-hour time frame and we can take a look at some of our other pairs. We hit targets on Euro N. We gave these out yesterday. Now we can move this target up. Still the same targets here. Entry zone and entry zone. That up. Euro GBP again. Targets getting absolutely blasted, but we didn't make it up to the previous points of liquidity, which is such a shame. You know, there was so many points that we could have got involved for shorts here. And this is something I want you guys to notice. I know most of the people that are here now, you watch these live streams and you see me do the same thing all the time. But notice how almost, not every chart, because that would be unrealistic, but almost every chart I show you, our entries are always the point where price decides to travel from. And the targets are the things that are getting pushed through. Not always, but a lot of the time, like we're trying to sell here. Price is clearly selling. We're trying to sell here. Price is clearly selling. We're selling here. Price at the moment isn't clearly selling, but it will be soon clearly selling through these, reaching our targets. The same thing, GU. We're trying to hit highs. G-Chef. We're looking for entries up here, but we haven't actually looked at this yet. We will have a look. Gold, same thing. Running through targets. U-Chef, target the high. Price is literally skyrocketing to it. So it's not something that you're going to see every single day and on every single pair. But you guys can agree that the consistency and correct bias is almost unmatched in terms of simplicity. I'm not saying unmatched in terms of we're right all the time, you know, because you know we're not like that. But the system speaks for itself, and the movements in the market speak for themselves. Okay, so we've got our alerts in here. Honestly, such a shame that that didn't trigger in. Gap is now open. Secondary entry idea would be around this point. And you can always reduce your risk down as well. Go back to the 4-hour here and we can start marking up. So for anyone wondering, these are psychological levels shown with the bank zone indicator. They're just big round numbers. That's all it is. You could do this yourself just by, like that, for example. We could do 130, 131. Do like 1, like 0, 130. That's all it is. Yeah, 130, 131, just big numbers, because you'll see price action will generally react at those levels, kind of like support resistance. Either way, it breaks away, pushes back down, tries it again, rejects away initially, sort of rejects away, pushes up, comes back, tests it, pushes down, plays back off of it, now pushing down again. So just big institutional levels. Get the targets marked up. Fine. We have a huge selection here for targets. Huge selection. So by that, what I mean is you can trade on a lower time frame. For example, you could trade from here to here for just a short in and out. You could trade from here, you could trade to here. It's all depending on what your tolerance is across a longer period of time. Okay, now on the 4 hour here, I ideally would have liked to have seen another high swept out. That would have been preferable for me, but didn't happen, so that's fine. Euro here is just absolutely tanking right now. Gold is still maintaining that bias that we said to you guys about earlier. Expecting it to take out the highs. Remember, you guys, if you haven't already watched the Keep It Simple series, you should do it, because I can almost guarantee you will see a change in your trading, and it will be a positive change. It won't be a negative change. Almost guaranteed. If you take the time to go and do that, you will see a change in a good way. So we are looking. Remember, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, hit that like button. If you think somebody you know will enjoy the stream as well, then give it a little share. Share it to them. Go to NAS 100 here. We hit some beautiful targets. Hit that low. Ooh, so close. Look at the way we came down. Took out the low. Blasted straight to the targets. Took all the targets out. We can now move this target to here. These can also be moved back. They've been hit now. Put the new target there. Target here. Reduce this down. Cool. And then we have a couple of points of entry. Here. Here. That low didn't quite tag in, I don't believe. Nope. These are your target points. These are your entry points. So the easy way to do it is we're looking for something like this or like this. That's what we're looking for. Same with gold. We're looking for real simple. Euro we were looking for, and we got none of them because it didn't quite get there. Just dropped straight down. EU, same thing. We're looking for. At the moment we have in that first move come down lower. It's pulling all the way back to that. Okay. Double check we're not clashing with news here. Hour and 6. The Schultz job opening. Scorcher. That is an absolute scorcher. We're going to put an alert on this high just so we know if it gets hit. It's useful. Remember, guys, if you're not already a part of the shortlist for the automatic trading bot, then you can find the link for that in chat. Your euro on bullish? Your euro on bullish? You're bullish on euro? Okay, cool. That's cool. Love to see it. It's always good to have conflicting opinions because that's what causes, the discussions to happen. That's where the brainstorming occurs. That's where you can begin to actually discuss ideas. So what is your idea behind being bullish on euro? I'd love to know. See what we've got going on here. Okay. Doing right. See, that's such a nice move. Oh yeah, euro as well. Remember this one yesterday? Euro GBP. Target's low. 15-minute. Swept the high. Entry point given. Price action comes. Chopped around. BE'd us around here. We took a small profit. Then price is now absolutely scorching down towards our lower targets. Real nice movement there. Real good. Just a guess from experience. Yeah. If it takes a low, so I'm wrong. Yeah. Well, look, this is this is something that I really try to instill into everyone. Um, all of my students, all of my members, anyone that I trade alongside. It's okay to be wrong. You don't have to be right. You don't have to be correct um, in the way the price action is going to move. Like that is completely fine. Um, in itself, the main thing is always to have an idea, have a reason and a rule set to back it up with, and then consistently apply that. That's the main thing. That is the main thing. That's GU. Beautiful little tag in there. Get the load to follow through now. See, we've got our alert set on Euro N. Yeah, so I was still looking at possible phone upgrades. I was still looking at them the other day, but the more I look, the more I'm thinking like I don't need those new phones. Like, what's the point? Another thing for me to break or like it does exactly the same thing, Doesn't do anything different to the phone that I've got now. Literally the same. So I'm thinking instead of a phone, just look at a new rifle instead. Right? Logic. That is logic right there. Why do I need to get a new phone if I can just get a new rifle? Makes complete sense. So we're going to set an alert down here. Our first target. See if we can get down there. We don't, we don't, we do, we do. Exactly the same as all the setups we give you every single day. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, we're not going to cry about it. We're not going to give you a load of BS excuses as to why it didn't or the reason it's not gone there or, take a loss, you take a loss, deal with it. That's another thing that, a lot of people really struggle with. It's just accepting the fact that you lost money. Like, it happens. Same with like the Euro move, for example. We'll go back to here. The Euro move that ran beautifully. Didn't give us an entry. So what? Let it run. If it runs without you, it runs without you. It happens. Euro N. Okay, we don't really need to look at that. Okay, we've got our alerts set on here. The high targets are already being taken. G-Chef, we can look at G-Chef, but pretty consistently bullish there. 4 hour. In here, I don't know why they're not marked. So we put that as trees. Move this up now because we're up at that area now. That was taken and we had no reaction. And then we have targets that are spreading across all of these lows now. Double check the daily time frame. Make sure we haven't shifted our bias here. Okay, that's great. That is great. That's a great example of what I was showing you guys earlier. Look at the vast targeting area we have and how small the area of entry is. That was from when we were bullish. So you know where you want to sell from, and it gives you a nice variable for we may run down like this. That would be the higher time frame move, or we may just come down and take the first or the second. Maybe lucky, might get that whole move. We'll see. At the moment though, nothing too crazy. So let's just put an alert on that. Do we have any alerts in the back pocket? See. Actually thinking about it, I am neutral. We got NFP, an election. The maths ain't going to maths. Exactly, the maths not mathing. I never lose money. The market just borrows it until I make it right back. Exactly. That's the attitude you have. You have to have that attitude. You have to pay the market to be able to be in the market. You have to pay the market to be in the market. The difference is whether you're willing to accept that fee or whether you're going to be part of the band of crying boys that cries every time they take a loss and starts trading differently. Pay to play? Exactly. It is pay to play. Correct. The pay to play system. You're willing to pay? That's great. Fortunately, a lot of people aren't willing to pay. Okie go back. See in here. Rocking around price action right there. Euro just continuing down. Euro N, Euro G. That's blasting right now. What a low move. What a low move. Risk management is always going to be the one defining the movements and the finding how well you do in a long-term situation. I need some music. Waiting sweep and a cheap. The short gold. Yeah, yeah. That's definitely a possibility. I'm biased long, to be honest. Like I say, I think we're pretty much doing what we're doing now. I think we're taking out those highs and we're going to run. But we'll see, we'll see. Remember, if you are watching this on replay, then it is important to just take a look at the market when you're watching it now and see where it is. Just reference that. You know, like I've said before, it's really important to apply the stuff that you learn and then put it onto your charts. Now, whether price action goes against you for a week, whether it goes against you for a day, you know, it's really not a big deal. You know that it's a long-term principle, it's a long-term process. So that principle and that process has to be consistently executed. So go to your charts, take a look at what price action is showing you or telling you, and apply the same principle. Already took 80 points. Winner now. I can bet in a long move. Yeah. Nice, nice. Okay, move. I was about to say, okay, move. Okay, guys. Is there any questions anyone has? We're just going to wait for this alarm to get triggered here. Euro N. Ooh, swept down really nice, but didn't actually take out the low. Okay, G-Chef, we're waiting for that to get up into the high there. Gold is just, it's about to take that high. There is no doubt about it. That is high being taken. That's the final target being hit. U-Chef also looks like it's coming for that high target now as well. UJ, AU, that's 100. Such a shame that didn't get hit right there. Getting alert on that anyway. Oil, we haven't messed around with oil, but we said that we had a bearish bias, didn't we? And we took out all those lows, so that's pretty decent. And Euro A, same thing. We have nothing really until we get down into these lows. So let's just see. Just see what happens where we go. If price action continues to deliver down, or if we reverse. Everything is clear. Yeah, we take the high and we go. Yeah, dude. I think so. I think that is probably the direction we're going in. The only entry we have to look at right now is GU, to be honest. The only thing that we're in currently. Again, this is so clear. This is the easiest systematic way of entering the market. And yes, it might not be the highest hit rate. Yes, you might not get a trade every day. Yes, it might not be that interesting. But I promise you now, it's going to save you a lot of ball ache in the long run. And it's going to save you a lot of time. Meaning that you have more time to spend doing things you actually like. And what is it? Well, all it is finding the direction of the market, finding the points of high liquid, waiting for that to be taken, finding the institutional entry point, and selling in that direction, aiming for the lows. That's all it is. It's as simple as that. You guys know it is. Anyone that's watched the Keep It Simple series will literally be able to walk you through why I've taken this entry. Maybe, well, maybe not this one. This is more for the members, but definitely the first one. Real simple. Okie dokie. So remember guys, hit that like button. If you're not already a subscriber, then you can do that by hitting that subscribe button down below. What was the other thing I was going to say? Yes, that's it. If you want to be a part of the Discord community, the link for the Discord is in the chat and in the description. So you can join either way. You can join either way. We have quite a lot of... Are we? Quite a lot of rejection from this area where we're targeting right now. We can actually reduce this down now too. Targets become lower, price action becomes more prone to push up. How long do we have until the red folder news? 40 minutes. So my general rule of thumb is BE 30 minutes before news. Just gives you a lot more flexibility. That's a heavy rejection on GU. Just gives you a lot more flexibility in terms of being safer. That's coming up to that final target. So just keep that in mind. If you are using any kind of limit or stop during news, you are at risk of slippage. That's just a very simple, basic way of explaining why it's worth getting out before news. It is not worth trying to hold through news thinking that it's easy. It's not. Um, it's definitely worth keeping an eye out. If you see news coming, just give it room. Give it room, give it space, let it do its thing. Remember, news also causes often liquidity grabs, very often causes liquidity grabs. We can actually use news as a way of getting in positions rather than being afraid of the movement that comes after news. Just be protected during, and then after you can begin to capitalize in and target in on areas that maybe before you wouldn't have paid too much attention to. Okay, so we are 38 minutes out from the Jolts job opening. Now, I am going to take this opportunity to reduce risk on this GU trade. Now, we are very, very close to our entry point, and we're also rejecting relatively heavily. So instead of taking the stop and moving it down, I'm going to reduce the risk by more than half. So then ultimately, you will only come out of this position with a win. If price decides to go against you, then you take, let's say, your 0.1, 0.2 gain, or you can do the opposite, bring your stop to that 0.2 or 0.1 gain, but it makes the chance of being hit more probable. Or if you do get a nice move down to TP, if you were 6R, it will ultimately end up being 3R. But you've mitigated risk. And remember, we are risk managers. We're not profit collectors. We're risk managers. You can be a profit collector, but managing risk is going to allow you to do that. Another thing, like I've said, many, many times, you're always going to see people in the YouTube space and the Twitter space and Instagram. They're always focusing on TP, 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 TP. The place where people really need help is the understanding that TPs come if the market's willing to give it to you. And the way that you do that and the way that you allow yourself to get to those points is by mitigating risk and actually managing trades, not by just blindly holding and being like, I'll get to my target, because that's not a great way to do it. Now, it doesn't always need management. If we didn't have red folder news coming up soon, we wouldn't even be looking to manage this until we get down to this low. As simple as that. But we have factors that are going to determine, and define the reason for a trade being moved to a safer position. Great saying. Appreciate it. Well, it's the things that people just don't. There's a lot of people that just don't ever go over anything like that. They don't ever talk about that. They'll tell you where to put your stop, and they'll tell you, you could do this or you could do that. When in reality, it's always coming down to the principle of you can win 10 trades in a row, but when you take 10 losses in a row, you aren't going to be thinking the same way. Simple as it. Like, that's just basic human psychology. Okay, guys, so I believe my mother is arriving very shortly. As I said earlier, it is her birthday, and we're having a little meal and a little shindig, little get together. Um, as of now, this is the only entry I'm in. If you're in the Discord, I'll keep you updated on this. My stop is in the same place, but my risk is, well, I can't take a loss on this. If it gets any closer to news, I'm going to put my stop to BE to protect myself even more. I encourage you to do the same if you took that position. You can hold your risk if you want, but if news does push this bullish, you could take a slippage loss up in the high here. So I appreciate everyone for joining me today. It's been amazing as always. Remember, if there is information that you have retained from this live stream, then make sure you share it with other people and you share this live stream with people you think will find it interesting. And of course, if you're not already a member of the Discord, join the Discord, hit the like button and the subscribe button. I will catch you all in tomorrow's live stream. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe. And as always, peace and love. Catch you all soon.